Hello and welcome to another day in the arena. It is me, it is CGV, and today we're kicking it with some Singleton, and I have brewed up a spicy little deck. Obviously not the most... Anyway, you should see it coming. I was going to say not the most original, but in Singleton, I like, it is what it is. You pick out your favorite cards and you play them. I got accused on my last Singleton deck of copying a net deck off of Goldfish, which was really funny to me because I have net decked plenty, almost always in standard. Always in standard. Let's be real. Always in standard. I've never net decked in Singleton. It's just picking kind of a theme and picking the cards that match what you want to do. So I thought that was pretty funny that somebody like called me a net decker for Singleton. But no, I'm so damn proud, you guys. Oh, I'm gonna cry. I built this myself, and it's the greatest thing on the planet. No, okay, so this is Bolas Singleton. So I was challenged by one Dr. Bumcheeks on the YouTube, who some of you may know, has a great channel, check it out, to play something with Bolas, for God's sake. And here we are. So start with Nicol Bolas and then figure it out from there. There was plenty of counterspells and plenty of ways to make like a draw-go control deck. But I figured I have a few thoughts about Singleton. One is I don't think most people are going to play a pile of creatures that are uncommon and common. I think they're going to play mythic rares, which is a lot of planeswalkers and a lot of big spells. Counter spells are okay against those, but if you're holding up counters for a whole game, it's very boring. I can do that in standard. The other thing that I figured about Singleton is that most people are going to be playing not piles of creatures, and therefore sweepers I don't think will be as effective. As much as I like a good sweeper, everybody likes a good sweeper, I thought that cards that kind of go toe-to-toe on power level with these big bomb cards would be best, and that's what this deck is kind of made for. There are some things to make us survive early, like Fatal Push, Magma Spray, Abrade, Harness Lightning, Cut. So we've got, it's not like we're just cold on removal, but we have a lot of like dual cards to get max value, and we have a lot of haymaker cards to just kind of trade big punches with our opponents. So hostage takers and Chandras, lots of planeswalkers, Vraska's Contempt and Commit, of course, then cards to steal their bombs, Confiscation Coup in Bolas's clutches, Eldest Reborn, Angrath even. So that's kind of the way I'm going. I've just sort of decided that the format's probably going to be slower, and I'm going to push the power level of my deck and focus on having answers to the bombs that I expect my opponents to have. One thing I don't like about my deck very much right now, to be brutally honest, is I'm running 24 land. I should be running 26, and I should do a better job of being prepared for videos. So let's get that going. And what gets cut from such a deck? What isn't quite as good? Well, I guess we have a Renegade map. So that's one thing that I can just pull one of those lands for. But then again, you don't get the mana density that you're really after. And you do have to hit your land drops. Maybe we'll just cut that map. That map can go. I'm sure our mana will be totally fine in before Mana Screw in very first game. And I think Virtuoso is pretty modest considering we don't have that much energy stuff going on. Okay, so we'll roll it like that. Let's fire this baby up. At least we caught it before we started playing. I've done that. I've made some interesting on-stream mistakes. My favorite was a deck. It was a ramp deck, and for some reason, I built it with only 18 lands. I did not mean to build it with only 18 lands. It was clearly an oversight, a mistake, and I uploaded the deck list and everything, and we played like 5 games, and every time I'm like, why aren't I drawing lands? This is ridiculous. I'm getting so mana screwed. And then somebody in chat counted the lands on the deck list that I had posted in Discord and informed me what the problem was, and I was very embarrassed. So I'm confident we can get to blue mana and start throwing good haymakers before we're dead. Although it is kind of amazing how many times I play against turn 1 Llanowar Elves in Singleton. This has happened to me, let's just say, more than... This is at least the third time I can remember getting turn 1 Llanowar Elfed. But there you go. I don't think I've been turn 1 Llanowar Elfed in Standard that many times. Oh, and remember that assumption I made about people not playing piles of creatures and playing all their big, powerful mythics? Looks like I'm gonna be wrong. Immediately wrong. I think I did this wrong. I could have been activating this Field of Ruin potentially, but my opponent only has basics right now. Should I be greedy and go for something else? I think I should. We've got another land drop for this turn. And blue mana is the priority. But let's see if our opponent just runs us the hell over here. It's not looking good. Maybe my assumptions about the format are just way off. I've played... This will be my third Singleton event. And this looks like it's a total swarm deck. The exact opposite of what I expected. So far, so bad. I guess it's hitting a land drop's better than nothing. Or do we be greedy and go for blue or removal or something? I guess I'm just going to take the land drop, be conservative, although I'm not really sure how we get back in this game. I don't even know if that's an option. I kind of need a card like Scarab God to just overpower everything, the entire board. And we'll see if Pride Sovereign wants to get frisky or make kitties. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's pretty cool. Well, now would be the time to have some sweet sweepers, but not this guy. He thought he was clever. He thought he would build a deck a certain way. He thought it made sense. He was an idiot. Let's see what we draw. You can't even draw a blue source, I'm telling you. What'd I tell you? That mana would be great. Did? Let's see. Block there. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Doesn't work. So one blocker doesn't work. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. Saheeli doesn't do anything. If I had 8, I could play Scarab God, but that's not going to work. I guess we'll just bluff a Settle the Wreckage off our treasure map and see if our opponent neglects to attack with enough things. But yep, hard countered by green-white beatdown in turn 1 Llanowar Elves. Who wants some? Didn't punch attack all, did he? Nope, he did not. I guess we'll leave that up. It's a blue source, but it's tapped. All right, commit you. See, that Blossoming Defense, that one of Blossoming Defense. Let's just put it this way. We're still a long way from being in this game. Well, now we have Torrential Gearhulk and commit. But that won't really save us. Still, we're once again a mana short of Saheeli Rai and Gearhulk. Not that we have 2 spells anyway. So we gotta take a shot, I guess, at the top of the deck, and ha! Lucky me. All right, good job, opponent. You totally meta crushed me. Well, we'll see just how wrong a guy can be and see if we play against another Swarm deck. Maybe it's the only place you can play tokens because of one Goblin Chain Whirler. So I'm pretty sure I had blue sources in this deck, but what do I know? Let's find a black source with this scry. Nope. I'm so glad I went to 26 land so I wouldn't have these mana issues. It's all because I cut that map. Oh my. What a quick and glorious end to this Singleton. All right. Let the struggle begin. Our opponent's rocking and rolling. Life is but a dream to them. At least they didn't turn one Llanowar Elf me. Land and only land, please. Thank you. More upkeep stops. We do have the early removal. We shouldn't just get beaten to death by small things again. Land and only land. That's all I'm interested in. Hey, look at that. That's sweet, sweet value. All right, let's go here. Put you out. Let's make some energy up in this. Tender shoot. Yeah, that's gotta die. That's gotta go. We ain't having that. More land, please. Okay, did it. All right. So let's spray you, get out of my yard. As much as I would love to bring you back with Scarab God, I don't think I have the means. I know, all these cards. Somebody out there is just gonna sob for what I'm about to do. But I got my reasons. Gonna have a big turn. So we were able to kill the Wayfinder with Revolt because we sacrificed our treasures. Use that with Fatal Push. Revolt kills Wayfinder. Now Scarab God. Perhaps getting back Wayfinder to live the good life. And we'll see if our opponent just has an Ixalan's Binding or something up their sleeve for the Scarab God here. But they've got to have exactly the right thing, and it's going to be a Skywither shot, which is a thing. It is not the thing, unless they can exile it from the graveyard somehow. Let's see what happens. Okay. Come at me, 1/1. Bam! Scarab God to the hand. Siphoner. Let's take that action. Okie dokie. Of course Scarab God's back. Of course it is. That's the way it was designed. To be an oppressive, never-ending source of frustration for all who wish to play the game. Gilded Lotus. Our opponent goes ham. Good on them. This feels like a Singleton deck. Cast out. Either you just drew that or Sky Wailing was like just something you do for fun. Like the pastime of wailing in the sky is just what they're in for. But there you go. They found their Scarab God answer. This game will not just be a Scarab God game, much to the delight of, I'm sure, some of you. Some true Scarab God haters in the world. I understand the sentiment. All right, let's tap this. Let's go Rai. Maybe at some point we'd want to copy our Siphoner, but I feel like holding that for something a little higher impact. And let's start searching for that Azcanta. So multiple sources of card advantage and a universal answer. You gotta love the spot. The Relic, of course, is going to draw a card here. Gain some life. Looks like our opponent's found a lot of lands. Like a lot of mana sources. Interesting. Decides not to attack. Ah, we have another creature. It's the Sifter Worm. That is a big haymaker. And that is what I would expect the format to be full of. And farm to market, I believe, gains 6 because of the way that works. Let's resolve the search trigger first, so that we can decide if we want the card. I want this card. Take action. That way I don't have to use my Contempt, which can also hit Planeswalkers on this worm. Saheeli can again clone the Siphoner, and we can draw an extra card next turn. Is that the play? We also get him for 4. We can also just keep ticking up, which this trades off with, sorta. Something like that. We don't have a black for the zombie, unfortunately. That will come along later. But I do think this is... I think it's best to keep Saheeli scrying and near top loyalty. High enough, yeah, because then we can clone something like a Gearhulk when we find one. And lo and behold, on top of the deck, there was a Gearhulk. Farm to market in hand. Can shut down the Siphoner. Destroying an attacking creature. Siphoner doesn't really keep the energy flowing without attacking. Push, spray. So some small ball removal in the graveyard. I could certainly wait for some better targets to do my Torrential Gearhulk comboing with. And do I make them play the market or make them hold up the mana? At this point, the Siphoner kind of controls 3 mana a turn if we do find another source of energy. Let's keep going up. Perfect. Let's return. Opponent's graveyard. We don't want to take away their creatures. Although our Scarab God got exiled, we still have a Consign to Oblivion, which can get it back, and a Commit to Memory. And we're not going to attack into the farm to market. So now Saheeli Rai can keep going up. We're going to try to set up a better board to Torrential Gearhulk, clone Torrential Gearhulk on. I think just being patient is fine when we have the Planeswalker about to be Planeswalkers. Opponent passing turn. Okay. Library. Welcome to Ladies' Night. Island on top. Not important right now. Lady Chandra.
Let's do this. This'll be easy.
And the Eldest freaking Reborn, huh? Can't cast it. 1 mana short. Deal damage. The idea that we have the option is hilarious to me. All right, end that turn. Again, not attacking. Farm to market. Just make him hold it. make him not use the second ability, make him keep 3 mana open. Maybe we'll find another way to make energy and draw some cards with the Siphoner. Fumigation? Lame. But we're pretty insulated from that. This is one of the reasons I wasn't too big on sweepers for the format. I thought everybody would be running Planeswalkers, and while I was wrong in the first game,
You realize I do not stand alone.
I feel righter this game. I do realize, Johnny, I get it. What are you? 3/2, search for a basic land, battlefield tapped. Weird. Never even noticed this card. Didn't even know it was around. All right, you got some dorks. Let's say goodbye to a John John. Oh, bam. This was another good reason to wait, but alas. All right, I think what we need to start with is scrying Saheeli Rai, see if we can put something awesome on top of our deck, or at least give ourselves a better chance of that. Then using Chandra. The ladies are a tag team, and 2 lands, so be it. Wasn't meant to be. Let's hit that Duress button. Get that farm out of that hand, because once our opponent plays Shalai, it's going to be a little more complicated to Duress. And let's hold that Gearhulk. I imagine my opponent will play 2 creatures next turn. I can Gearhulk, copy Gearhulk, Vraska's Contempt, and Magma Spray away their creatures. We also have a full 7 on Saheeli, which can go get like a Noxious Gearhulk, but sometimes can kill Shalai first. What's all this open mana for? That's suspicious. Did he draw a Spell Swindle? One way to find out. Or maybe he just wants to activate the Shalai, but I don't think that's a great use of the mana for 1 creature. Doesn't make sense to me. All right, search. Graveyard, transform. We did it. Opponent has had enough. They are out. The Planeswalkers, the Gearhulks, it's all too much. Well before something can get into Bolas's clutches. Game 2. Actually, game 3. My losses disappear from my memory. It's a good habit to have. What is with these hands? Just can't seem to get the colors right. Can't seem to get the mana count right. I guess I better take a mulligan. A little scarred from the butt kicking from earlier. This is better because of search and Saheeli. Still missing colors. Still a weird land count. At least we got some early interactives. Let's get searching. Let's get searching. The Bantu's Monument. Is it a rat deck? In case you don't know, in Singleton, you can have as many rats as you may ever want. So, do we jam the Saheeli or do we Abrade the Monument? I think we'll just save the removal for the creatures. Let the Monument be. I may regret that at some point. Haven't play tested the matchup. But Saheeli can help us work on getting to those lands we need. So we can play all of our big stuff. Gaunts. The Gaunty. maybe it's not a rat deck. I believe I also run the Gonti, so our opponent's looking at our top 4 and choosing one of those cards to be something that they can cast whenever they want to. It's probably all swamps. I'm going to graveyard you. I've got to draw black sources now. That's more important. Hey, we did it. That is great. And we'll end the turn. I think you're getting abraded. We enter into combat, we go to attackers, and we'll just abrade your butt. It does open up reanimation shenanigans, which is not cool. But I don't think we can just let him sit there either. Interesting. He took a Vraska's Contempt for Saheeli. Cool. So that's our Vraska's Contempt in the graveyard, which means the only way we're going to play it is by finding Torrential Gearhulk. But if he uses it on Saheeli, he's not going to use it on Chandra. So library. We could Duress first, but I'm willing to take a chance here. If he had to pick a Contempt and then use a Contempt, that he doesn't have another solution.
Today's my lucky day.
Exiled our Fatal Push. It's probably fine considering we're at this stage of the game and there's nothing small I need to kill. Bantu and Bantu's Monument hanging out. Alright. Something needs to die for that to be effective. The search for Azcanta. May I please search for Azcanta? I'm just kind of asking it. It's just a trigger. Goes off beginning of my turn. May I? Opponent, may I please go search for Azcanta? Thank you. We'll keep it. We have an option of stealing this. It's interesting. I don't run that many creatures. I think I will plus and see if I get a better option.
Oh, this is gonna hurt.
Deal damage. That was a shame. All right. If it would die, exiled instead. This is a replacement. This is a sacrifice effect. Also, I may as well coup this because as long as my opponent has 2 mana, I can never steal anything because they just sacrifice it to the Bantu. And if they had a way to deal with the Chandra, they'd have cast it last turn. So we're going to do this. I don't know if we'll ever get to attack or block with it, but since it kind of nullifies the coup when it's sitting on the opponent's side of the table, I think it's a good idea. Our opponent waiting till our end step for something. Maybe there's something they need to cycle. Or not. Maybe it's just a stop they always set because that's when they like to think. Some of these Magic Online players clashing with some of these Magic Duels players. Battle of Cultures. The Herald of Anguish is here. Ew. Gross. Alright. This Duress can go. On 5. Yeah. Let's see. Could bin that, go to 6. I think we'll take it and get this exiled. Why not? We might want to plus Chandra first for options.
Oh, today's my lucky day.
All right, 2 damage to the face. Not missing nothing. All right, big guy, get out of town. And may I ultimate this Chandra, please? Hoo-hoo-hoo-ha. That'll be a painful emblem. Search probably flipping. We had an interesting option if I had set a stop where I should have, where we could have flipped it last turn if we played the Magma Spray on our upkeep, but I would have had to bin the cut, so that's not going to happen. We can graveyard you, because we're going to transform this anyway, so it's like I got a free island. There we go. interesting. -7 emblem. If you haven't seen the Chandra emblem, watch it burn indeed. 5 damage to any target whenever I cast any spell. So we're going to kill this. The thing is, I could use Search and try to find a different spell. Or I could just drain them. I think I'd rather draw the card. So I'm going to start with the Search. Death's Majesty's great. But I can't play it this turn, so we're going to Ribbons for 1 and deal 5 damage to the Direfleet Ravager. Not let that thing get any momentum coming at me. Watch out for Torments of Hailfire. Please don't torment me. I would actually barely survive it. Bane Whip Punisher. So we get the gain drain, -1/-1 counter will go here. You can sacrifice the Punisher to destroy it, but that doesn't do any good against the Indestructible. The Phyrexian Scriptures also doesn't do any good against the Indestructible. What's this say? Destroy all non-artifact creatures. Well, I found an artifact creature. How about that? Let's see. And I can sacrifice it. I can attack for 3. I can deal 5 to the face. 8, 9. It's not good enough. So let's do this. Let's blow you up. Go grab Island. Land for turn. Death's Majesty would make a zombie. The zombie would die. But it would deal 5 damage to my opponent, putting them at 7. Or we could search. My opponent does know about the Death's Majesty. The search could prevent us from losing to something obscene. I think I'll search. I think search is the way to go in this spot. We're highly favored, and the more cards I see, the greater the favoring goes. Here is a Noxious Gearhulk. Target, Skittering Surveyor. Well, we can sacrifice it in response, and our opponent doesn't gain the life, but then we don't get to search. But we get to scry. I think it's a fine play. It's okay. It's medium. Never on top is excellent. Although, we do have a little bit of a problem. Okay, so let's see. Kill that. Take 5. You're down to 7. Down to 4. Don't have enough black mana to play both, but I do have enough to cast Never and Never Return, so that's 10 damage. That monument is keeping him in the game. It's gained plenty of life from it. My whole graveyard is going to get exiled anyway. I'm going to exile my opponent's graveyard in case they use reanimation type jutsu. I'm still 1 mana short of sacrificing this zombie to this Bantu and killing my opponent. There goes my graveyard to the scriptures and the concession. Alright, like I said, I haven't been able to put out as many videos these days, so I'll try to run it a little longer since we've got it all fired up and we're all here. I'm also keeping with my latest trend of getting rolled in my first game by some aggro deck and then rallying back. So apparently the loser's bracket, were there such a thing on Arena, is good to me. just the way we're gonna do things, I guess. Already looking at this hand, I'm like, do I want to play this Canyon Slough? I've got double red, I've got double black. My biggest risk is flooding out, so playing the Slough is a little risky. But this comes in tapped without it, so if I just play this untapped right now, and then I can play Swamp next turn and Siphoner, and then Spider, Bluff, Canal. Okay, got it. Gotta work out that land sequencing. You want your tapped lands on turns when you weren't going to use it anyway, and you want your untapped lands every time you plan to play something. Do it, Siphoner. Give me some cards. I need them. Our opponent opened with an Arch and a blue source means they may have mana problems. You usually don't want to see Arch that early in the game. And we got a Plains on the battlefield. Do we want to attack in? What am I doing if I'm not attacking, right? Hit! Play the Canal because if I don't, it will enter the battlefield tapped in the near future. Jeskai. What are we in for? If our opponent did have mana issues, they seem to have drawn right out of it. And there's a Planeswalker, Saheeli. So other than that first rolling I got by the severe aggro deck, it seems like everything else has been the way I initially expected it when I built the Bolas deck. So hopefully we'll be favored for these long head-to-head slugfests. Yeah, I'm taking action. Yeah, I'm drawing more cards. Although the amount of lands is getting interesting. So we just want to try to check their resources at every point that we can. And I guess I'll use this Evolving Wilds. 1, 2, 3, 4 red. 1, 2 black. 1, 2, 3 blue. So black it is. Just going to do it now before I forget. Don't have to think about it. Don't have to hold priority on anybody. Try to be a good citizen. Blooming Marsh, are we 5-color Planeswalkers? Whew, gonna be in for it. It's always a little intimidating playing against a Planeswalker deck that is on the play and is slamming their mythics while you're kind of flooding or kind of screwed and trying to have a board. If our opponent actually doesn't play creatures, these aren't gonna do much. Ixalan's Binding coming down. That sucks. That sucks bad. I really need Siphoner here to keep pressuring these guys. I guess Angrath is annoying, but if it gets removed, I'm down to just this pile of land that I am rocking in this hand. Up to 9 lands now. And I even held and cycled that Canyon Slough.
No fire, no steel.
10 lands drawn. Woo! Let's hope that Ixalan's Binding was their only source of good universal removal for this hand, and it's a Johnny being discarded. Oh god, we're definitely going to be playing against some big critters. I feel my deck is set up for it. I don't know if my draw will be. I love the Arch of Vraska in a 5-color deck. That is so greedy.
I am perfection. Power obeys the powerful.
Yeah, good for you, Tez. Wow. Did we just draw another land? Keep hitting that hand. What else can you do? But with our opponent scrying every turn.
No fire, no steel.
They discarded the Ajani before. I guarantee they got more huge awesome. And they discard a Fatal Push. Weird. Okay. I guess I'll make an energy. I'll sit here with my handful of land. My deck full of haymakers, my handful of land. Good for you, dude. We should all know that feeling. Teferi? Just, you know, rub it in. Opponents touching all their cards. Oh, that's a good one. It's a really good one. Please draw in Bolas's clutches. The flavor would be hilarious.
Praise me. This will be your folly.
Planeswalkers yelling at each other. I love it. Yeah, that ain't gonna do it. Well, that was a fun game. Lord. I think we kept a 4-lander. I don't think it was a 5-lander. Oh well. That's the way things go. I'll watch the video back, scold myself. If only you knew. If only you knew where this hand was going. On the play, 4 lands, some haymakers. What could go wrong? Oh wait, was anybody else watching that last game? All right, Lake, get the tap lands out of the way. the mana parade begins. Arguel's Bloodfast. Awesome. Awesome. All right. This will be great. Let's dance. Our opponent's apparently on the black-green. That's kind of exciting. I do think there's probably a sweet black-green Singleton deck out there. Maybe we'll get the time to build it someday. Ramp. We're ramping. We're already on that ramp train. And I drew something awesome. Go me.
I will defend. I'll make use of that later.
What do I get? What do I get? Guarantee I get the land. Which is going to hit all the land drops now, thanks to Karn Man. Of course, our opponent may have their Vraska's Contempt, their Eldest Reborn, they are never to return. They have plenty of things up their sleeve. Don't know why we're holding up at my end step. Don't know what you could possibly do. All tapped out. So, how about we just go to your turn? Oh, Planeswalker on Planeswalker crime. I love it. I am set up for this.
True power.
We do have to probably see Karn go to 1. I once proud Golem on 1 loyalty. All right, Doomfall off the top. Before we show our opponent what's up.
Choices we make reveal who we are.
Guarantee I do not get the Scarab God here. All right, Mountain. Just making sure that my mana requirements are all lining up fine. Eldest Reborn. I can sacrifice the forest. What am I doing? Still, that's not terrible. It means we get Karn back in a turn or two and we Stone Rain our opponent. They like land. So that's interesting, actually. That might still be a really solid play if we just eat their lands. Stone Rain them a bunch? Interesting. But let's see what happens. You're not going to tap that for mana first? Okay. Cool. Eldest Reborn can bring the Karn back, of course.
I am proud to have fought.
Perhaps we're going too fast on blood, as some would call a blood fast. Trying to hit lands. All right, discard, please. Next turn, I just bring back the Carnage. And since I don't want my opponent to have an emblem, I may have to Vraska's Contempt this Nissa now. Is that the right play? Yeah, that's the right play. I would have loved to kill some more land. Would have loved to, but oh well. Get the tap land out. Our opponent has a Bloodfast. They can use it. All I gotta do. Let's go click, click. Although, of course, if they don't have auto tap, they have to sit there and be like, click, click, pool, pool. I don't know how anybody lives that way. We could all have so much more time in our lives. The music has certainly died down. Hush falls over the crowd. This game's certainly in the balance. I feel good. That Bloodfast, though, is obnoxious. And if this Eldest Reborn goes off, I'll feel competitive, but now it's not going to. Our opponent with a Vraska. Very good card for the situation, that's for sure. Yeah, I would say I definitely screwed up on that Eldest Reborn earlier. Oh well. Can't do anything about it now. What can I do? Crank out some zombies?
Ooh, I love what they've done with the place.
Okay.
The dead are loyal.
What'd we been? Oh, a Gearhulk. Well, hopefully we get to untap and bring that back. If Liliana lives, it can get our Vraska's Contempt, taking out Vraska, which is always flavor-ish. But we'll see. So far, our opponents had all the answers. Will they have another one right here for Liliana? To be fair, we haven't asked too much of our opponent. When I say they have all the answers, they haven't needed many. Well, that's a problem. But at least, well, I have a zombie to sacrifice, and I can make one most every turn. Let's see if Vraska goes down to kill this, so I have to sacrifice Liliana. But if he exchanges his Vraska here, what? I just take some damage. This is interesting. So, yep, I sacrifice this creature that I have, and I can make more. And that is a big draw, because I can consign this and Doomfall it. So, we're going to have a great turn. Maybe our opponent didn't see this line. They were going to lose the Vraska anyway. I think this has to be the play. So we got this Nissa, which +3 to gain 3 life is meh. The -4 is meh. Cast down will take out our critter. The Diabolic Tutor gets whatever he wants. The Doomfall will hit our hand. So this game is far from over, but I think hit it in the Cruel Reality still has to be the priority. So we can play this. This will get cast down. This will get attacked down to 1. Diabolic Tutor will get something. we have kind of have some comeback play with the Oblivion. We'll see. Hopefully our Noxious Gearhulk doesn't get Doomfalled, but okay. It's interesting. He didn't use the cast down there. He decided to Doomfall away our Gearhulk instead and found a Lifecrafter's Bestiary. Wow. Dude is doing it. Living that life, that sweet Singleton life. Alright. So there's our Zombo. Glimmer in the yard. Let's force him to make some tough choices, shall we? We know he's got 3 relevant cards. Let's get him. Okay, so yeah, he gets rid of the cast down because right now he thinks he can kill Liliana with this. He keeps this, which honestly isn't a great planeswalker. And now if we take over the board, we can pressure it well. And we certainly have the board presence. Our opponent does not. But they've got this Bestiary, and they've got this Bloodfast. So they've got card advantage sources. We need a lot of power. I need probably another planeswalker. I don't know if Liliana can do this job alone. Interesting. Going to give up the Chupacabra. Am I? I'm going to give up the zombie because if Eldest Reborn... Well, Eldest Reborn, there's no way it's getting back the Chupacabra, but it is another option. Yeah. I was thinking I might want to get back the Chupacabra, but why give my opponent that option?
Oh, look what I found.
I should probably concern myself with having a really strong board. Which means playing a 5/4 menace. Did I somehow not attack? This doesn't have summoning sickness. Why didn't I attack? Did I just miss the memo? I guess so. Should have cast that to gain energy. Playing a little sloppy. I got in my head about why I didn't attack with this. Oh well. Life goes on. We're in a top deck war with a guy who has a Bestiary and a Bloodfast. I need all the help I can get. And an Eldest Reborn about to go off and a Nissa. -4. Carnage Tyrant Fatal Push. Jesus Christ. Alright. There's nothing to really get back. It's risky to continue to load up the graveyard for the Eldest Reborn, but I have a feeling that Karn or something like that that they want is already there. Oh, Bolas's clutches. I really needed you. It gains 3 life when it goes up anyway, so I may as well give up 2 damage I would deal to get rid of it. At least Carnage Tyrant can't block the Gearhulk alone. If he just taps for Carnage Tyrant here without another land drop, he's dead. But what does Reborn get? I love the Karn. Angrath is pretty good. I don't know. Let's find out. Angrath, okay. Are you going to talk about fire and steel or something? Or are you going to target one of my critters? Opponent's turn is already running down. And running aplenty. They do have timeouts, but my lord. Okay, you want the Chupacabra.
Your crew for my freedom? A fair price.
So that's not going to sacrifice itself. It has to be mana cost 3 or less. I don't have anything to get back right now with the Lily. And I probably won't by the end of this turn. So letting Lily take a punch is fine. This is interesting because it doesn't do anything to the board. My opponent does have the mana Carnage Tyrant and Fatal Push, which is probably what they're going to need to do. But I'll get this back. There's the Carnage Tyrant. If they tap this green mana to draw a card, I think I win the game. They do not. Carney T is here. So I just need to draw a way to deal 2 more damage. So this comes back. Okay. No sense slow rolling that one. I have an artifact, but my opponent does not have a creature I can target. What a conundrum. Well,
Nothing is more loyal than the
as soon as I see a creature I can target, we're in good spot. Here's the thing, Bloodfast. If this flips, life is harder. So do I go for lethal? He'll definitely use a push on one of these zombies. As long as I don't let this flip, I'm in a much better spot, right? I'm just going to take out the Angrath. I may regret this. Menace, homie. Menace. So mean.
Shiver my horns and hammer.
Something about horns and hammers. No use of the Fatal Push. And we have a lethal attack now. He's got to do something. And it can't be a creature. But he has a bestiary. So it's in his interest to play a creature. Cycling. Know the feeling. Did that myself. Wow. That stinks. Pretty good find. He still has to play another creature and it has to be able to dodge these removal spells. Yeah, I would take the Unlicensed Disintegration too. Ooh, Zealot. And that costs a life. See if he pays the green for the card. But Fatal Push will be lethal here. So yeah, he needs another Fatal Push doesn't do it. I don't know what he thinks he's drawing into. Down to 8. Okay, looks good. Very unlikely I lose this one. we're going to give him Revolt on his turn. So if he wants to Fatal Push the Chupacabra, he has to make that decision now, although it doesn't really matter. Tezzy! Hi, Tezzy. Alright, what could he have? Fatal Pushes you. I don't know. Let's find out. Fog? Maybe it's a fog. Will it be a fog this evening? Or a haze of pollen, I believe is the technical name. Last card is... It'll push, okay. Still a lot of damage, and that will do it. I guarantee some people out there thought I was out of this when the Bloodfast and the Bestiary hit the table, and when the Eldest Reborn was getting back Planeswalkers, but here we are. Well, we're gonna call that a wrap on the day. So, I would like to thank everybody for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, don't worry, I'll be back in the near future. Other decks, other formats, all the fun that we can bring you in Magic Arena. Thank you so much for the comments. Thanks for liking, following, subscribing, all the things. And I will see you next time.